Welcome to the Papyrus Global Television National News Update. I am Christiana Babayo, and here are today's headlines. Plateau killings intensify national security debate as curfew imposed. Fuel prices surge by over 60% despite Dangote Refinery Nigerians demand answers. NNPC Dangote crude deal sparks fresh controversy over oil sector transparency. Political shockwaves as 2027 election fears of one candidate race emerge. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission targets 57 properties linked to Abubakar Malami. HIV crisis fallout exposes Nigeria's dependence on foreign aid. Iwobi red card incident sparks national debate on discipline. Power crisis sparks outrage as communities endure months of blackout. Easter security deployment raises questions about national safety preparedness. And now the news in full. At least 20 people have been confirmed killed following a coordinated nighttime attack on a community in Jos North Plateau State. According to verified reports, gunmen riding motorcycles stormed the area, opened fire on residents and left multiple others injured before fleeing. Authorities imposed a 48-hour curfew to contain further violence. The incident has reignited long-standing tensions in Nigeria's Middle Belt, where conflicts involving farming communities, herders, and armed criminal groups frequently escalate into deadly confrontations. Analysts say the recurring nature of such attacks exposes gaps in Nigeria's intelligence gathering and rapid response systems. The federal government has condemned the killings, but public anger continues to grow, with many Nigerians questioning why similar attacks keep happening despite repeated military deployments. Nigeria is currently experiencing one of its most controversial economic crises, as petrol prices have surged by approximately 65% even after the full operation of the Dangote Refinery. The refinery, with a capacity of 650,000 barrels per day, was expected to drastically reduce fuel costs and eliminate reliance on imports. However, the reality has been starkly different. Reports show that Nigeria is still forced to import crude oil at high international prices due to existing oil-backed debt agreements, limiting the refinery's ability to produce cheaper fuel locally. The situation has been worsened by global supply disruptions linked to geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, pushing fuel prices upward and triggering inflation across transportation and food sectors. Public frustration is rising rapidly, with calls for government intervention, policy reform, and even reconsideration of subsidy removal policies. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company (NNPC) has increased crude oil allocations to the Dangote Refinery from 5 to 7 cargoes for May in an effort to stabilize fuel supply. However, this move has triggered significant debate. Experts point out that the refinery requires between 13 to 15 cargoes monthly to operate at full capacity, meaning the increased allocation still falls short. Additionally, the refinery has reported raised petrol depot prices by about 13% due to high crude costs, further fueling public dissatisfaction. Critics argue that the arrangement highlights deeper structural inefficiencies in Nigeria's oil sector, including supply chain issues, pricing transparency, and dependence on global markets. The controversy continues to raise questions about whether Nigeria can truly achieve energy independence despite massive investments in refining infrastructure. Nigeria's political space is becoming increasingly tense following warnings from senior legal and political figures that the country could be heading towards a one-candidate presidential election in 2027. Reports indicate that internal crises within opposition parties, court-driven leadership disputes, and growing defections are weakening political competition. There are also controversies surrounding decisions by the Independent National Electoral Commission on party recognition and internal disputes, which critics say could reshape the political landscape. Analysts warn that if opposition fragmentation continues, it may consolidate power around a single dominant political force, raising concerns about democratic balance rather, and electoral credibility in Africa's largest democracy. A major anti-corruption case is gaining national attention after the Efcc filed proceedings to permanently forfeit 57 properties allegedly linked to former Attorney General Abubakar Malami. The commission claims the assets are proceeds of unlawful activities, making this one of the most high-profile asset recovery efforts in recent months. However, the case is already generating controversy, with critics questioning whether the move represents genuine anti-corruption enforcement or politically motivated prosecution. Legal experts say the outcome of the case could set a precedent for future corruption trials involving top government officials, while also testing the independence of Nigeria's judicial system. Nigeria's healthcare system is facing renewed scrutiny after a major disruption in HIV treatment caused by cuts to US funding in 2025. Reports confirmed that the funding previously covered nearly 90% of treatment costs, leading to a near collapse of drug access when it was halted. Volunteers were forced to intervene, going door to door to reconnect thousands of patients with life-saving medication. Emergency funding later restored treatment access for about 1.7 million Nigerians, but prevention programs, including testing and drug distribution, remain severely weakened. Public health experts warn that this gap could lead to a surge in new infections, sparking debate about Nigeria's over-reliance on foreign aid and the urgent need for sustainable domestic healthcare funding. A controversial moment in Nigerian football has gone viral after Iwobi was sent off during a friendly match against Jordan following a violent on-field clash that escalated into a mass brawl. The incident, which involved physical retaliation after a foul, has divided public opinion. Some fans defended Iwobi's reaction as emotional competitiveness, while others condemned it as unprofessional conduct that could damage Nigeria's international football image. With upcoming competitive fixtures ahead, analysts say the controversy raises deeper concerns about discipline, team management, and the overall structure of the Super Eagles squad. In another developing controversy, residents in part of Nigeria, including communities in Gombe and Osun states, are protesting prolonged electricity outages lasting several months. Reports indicate that despite the blackout, residents continue to receive electricity bills, fueling anger and accusations of exploitation. State authorities have summoned power distribution companies to explain the situation, while affected residents demand urgent restoration of supply and compensation for financial loss. The issue has once again exposed the deep-rooted challenges in Nigeria's power sector, including infrastructure failure, regulatory inefficiencies, and poor service delivery. As Nigeria marks Easter celebrations, over 57,000 security personnel have been deployed nationwide to ensure public safety. While the move is intended to prevent attacks and maintain order, it has also sparked debate about the country's reliance on reactive security measures rather than long-term preventive strategies. Many Nigerians argue that such large deployments during holidays highlight the persistent threat environment and the need for more sustainable security reforms. We have come to the end of the news broadcast. Before we go, here is a recap of our top stories. Plateau killings intensify national security debate as curfew imposed. Fuel prices surged by over 60% despite Dangote Refinery. Nigerians demand answers. NNPC Dangote crude deal sparks fresh controversy over oil sector transparency. Political shockwaves as 2027 election fears of one candidate race emerge. For continuing coverage, expert analysis, and live updates, stay connected with the Papyrus Global Television. Visit papyrusdaily.com for breaking news. I am your host, Christiana Babayo. Thank you for joining us. On behalf of the entire newsroom and the production team, have a safe and informative evening.